Oh, hello there. I was just sitting down to enjoy this delectable meal, and, it was made in less than 3 minutes. How, you ask? Why, with the help of our sponsor, Factor. Factor is a delivery service that'll bring delicious, high-quality food straight to your door that can all be made within 2 minutes' time. That's right, no longer do you have to waste time planning out meals in advance, going to the grocery store, and collecting way too many ingredients. Because Factor's meals all come pre-packaged and ready for you to heat and use in a moment's notice. And it'll save you so much money compared to things like DoorDash, where you won't even get your straw half the time. Never remember the straw. Or my sauces. I'm a sauceless bitch. If you go to factor75.com right now and enter the code BentoFB50 at checkout, you can get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. Now, I don't know how you like to break your fast, but me, I like breaking it for free. They'll cover any dietary restriction, whether you're going for high protein, low carb, vegan, pescatarian. Factor's got you covered. So go to factor75.com and use that code BentoFB50 at checkout to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. Thank you, Factor. Wicked. We like Wicked here.
Wicked odd.
We get Wicked hot in this house.
We're not re-recording this opening.
No, apparently not. Oz, Stefan, you took like a deep dive at some random point.
Yeah, I decided I was gonna like experiment with making like a little web comic that was like a shonen anime interpretation of Wizard of Oz stuff. So I got real deep into Oz lore, and that was fun. But now I know a whole lot of shit about Oz.
Yeah, you were talking like when we were watching Wicked, it was like, hey, you know that desert she just ran up to? If you fall in there, you die.
Instantly. You just turn to dust.
So return to Oz, because I've seen Wizard of Oz, I don't know, maybe half a dozen times in my life.
And this is the unofficial movie sequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Is it based off a book?
Yes, a lot of stuff in here is directly from the books, not always the same books.
I haven't slept in 20 hours, and I think this is the way to absorb this.
Honestly, it might be a very interesting way to absorb it. This could be a ride at Disney World.
Jesus Christ! Horrifying.
Let's go, Falcor. Return to Oz.
Return to Oz.
What a absolutely crazy trip of a movie.
I didn't expect to like it so much.
This movie rules.
Yeah.
Like there'll probably be, like there's footage of me just sort of being like in a way that I haven't been with any other movie we've watched so far. Where I'm just admiring the artistry.
It's an absolute spectacle. Like I heard like bits and pieces about it, how it was like really creepy for kids watching it, but like, you know, I'd never seen it myself.
Me neither.
Being able to like watch it and see all these like bizarre effects and set work and all this stuff just kind of come together, it's honestly a marvel.
Yeah. So let's set the stage, because that's the thing I've been having a problem with our videos, that we don't do that enough. So this movie is telling of a few of the sequel books of The Wizard of Oz, but through the lens of taking the whole element from the original 1930
whatever movie
4 film, and like that's taking that lens of like, oh, maybe it's all in her head, and making that more the text of the film, and taking that a lot further as an exploration of Dorothy's relationship with the normal world in Kansas,
right,
through Oz. And that's an interesting take. It's dark.
Yeah, like I think we discussed that this is kind of like one of those, like, this might have been like the first coma theory kind of film.
And this movie just sort of like tries to take that step further, and like while also making like kind of a horror movie for children, like, which is kind of like what we were feeling. Just
it starts off and they're like because Dorothy, like, I guess it's immediately after the first movie, or like the first series of events, and you know the Auntie M and her uncle are, you know, still trying to repair the house, and she's just like talking like, oh yeah, and then there was this guy that chopped his limbs off and, you know, stuck himself back together with metal armor and stuff. And the Scarecrow's the king now. And there's like, okay, she's crazy. We gotta get her some help. Hey, there's this ad in the paper about a dude that'll zap some sense into her.
Yeah, and then they combined a lot of the stories, because this mixes like stories that had Ozma, or aka Tip, as the lead character, with stories that had Dorothy as the main character as well. Kind of like meshed them into the same story, which ended up, you know, de-emphasizing Ozma, but they also kind of implied that Ozma was just another aspect of Dorothy.
Yeah.
With her existing in reflections and like never never being
And
acknowledged.
just be kind of like a waif ghost.
Yeah, we noted in the real world, she's never really acknowledged.
Yeah.
By anybody.
Yeah, I got like a whole like Shutter Island thing going on at the beginning where Dorothy's escaping the asylum.
Yeah, and every time we see her, she's in reflections first, and then
Though
she
she
sees
was
her.
able to physically interact with Dorothy somehow, like, helping her get out of her restraints and stuff. So
Yeah,
there's
but if that's like a manifestation of Dorothy's mind, then that's just
Yeah.
her doing those
Right.
things.
It's kind of like playing pretend. Like if you're like,
Yeah.
oh, my imaginary friend is helping me do this
Yeah.
thing.
This really is just a fucking horror movie.
Yeah, this is
That's why I wasn't
scary.
saying a horror.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Is it crazy how much Oz has not happened yet?
Yeah. No, this is it's as a horror
It's not
movie.
like it's bad.
Kind of good.
Yeah. For like a horror
you know,
movie for kids, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it crazily starts off as like, her trying to escape from this asylum that I guess burns down shortly after.
Yeah, then they made it clear everybody who was a patient got out safely. The doctor who electrocutes people fucking died because
Yeah.
he was staying in there to try to save his equipment.
And apparently the weird nurse ratchet like Frau Brucher lady was the arsonist.
yeah, maybe
or
was-
at least was held to blame.
And yeah, this movie's like kind of like there was a few movies like this, both in like the level of creepiness and also just creativity.
Yeah.
Like this movie's so visually inventive.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even before the Oz stuff, like, you had this, like, weird, creepy, haunted-ass asylum that Dorothy gets, like, locked into with, like, the creepy nurse and the weird leering dude on the gurney and the horrifying-looking electro contraption.
Yeah.
It's, like,
It
always,
has
like,
a
staring
face.
at you. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's looking at you. Look, this is its tongue.
the whole thing is a horror movie, but especially those first like 20 minutes, is
Yeah.
like really slow in a way where I was like, I don't know where this movie's going. This is just scary.
And after watching it, I am actually like almost 100% convinced that this directly inspired Pan's Labyrinth because the format of it is so similar.
Yeah.
Where just Pan's Labyrinth just takes that stuff a little further.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how like inspiring this is to like you can look back and see some of your favorite movies were inspired by other creators. And
Yeah, a
this,
lot
this,
of
and
visual
that.
motifs, for
Yeah,
sure.
like I was talking about how like spoiled we were as kids, where I'm like, they're doing so much. This is insane that this exists. There's claymation, there's stop motion, there's puppetry, there's like every single fucking like creative medium you can do with your hands is like in this fucking movie.
I'm impressed by the production in general, like all the
sure.
effort put in it, but I'm also just impressed that how did they convince Disney to fund this and release this?
I don't know.
Well, this was in the era that Disney was not doing well.
Yeah, so I guess like
Like their animation-
Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
We're just taking a risk, like gamble on anything.
Yeah, this is pre-Eisner but post-Waltz, so like they're
Yeah,
kind of
we're-
in a rough spot.
We're gonna just kind of roll the dice on a bunch of things pre-Renaissance. So you end up with this weird acid trip of a movie that's like part sequel to the original Wizard of Oz movie and part just like trying to adapt the books.
Yeah, but also not really a sequel to either of them
Yeah.
because it's got its own unique take. But like all the visuals are very much taken like almost directly from the drawings in the book.
Yeah, so you got this weird little amalgam that's going to be hard to please either audience.
Yeah.
Whether you're a fan of the book or like if you'd never even heard of the book series, like what the fuck are they talking about?
The illustrator for the original Oz books is named John Neal with Neill, 2 L's.
Okay.
All the art is very like reminiscent of his art specifically of the original like 14 books.
Yeah, and the visual language of this movie is just very striking.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the set design or just in some of the character designs, like those Wheelers and their masks, they're
Yeah.
kind of horrifying.
And it's interesting, like, because like so much of the movie like tries to be like very like standard like studio filmmaking, like nice smooth camera angles and stuff. They use shaky cam very rarely in the beginning, like when she's being taken to be electrocuted.
Yeah, and there's like some green screen matting, like very early and very noticeable green screening, but
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the Back to the Future hand disappearing where the green screen is very bad, where I'm like, it's kind of charming now. It's been long enough. It's so silly that
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, at least there's one shot like this.
Yeah, and surprisingly, yeah, there's only that, and like I saw strings at one point, but like otherwise the movie holds up really well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
visual effects, whether it's between like the puppetry or the stop motion claymation or
The matte paintings.
one of the most impressive visual shots to me was when that one Wheeler fell into the desert that eats people, and they just like turned to sand.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
like, oh wow, so they had to make like a kind of a sand sculpture that would like
Exactly.
dissolve. It's just like
Yeah.
holy shit.
And they had to like stop motion that as well, I think.
There are so many little things that they do that like we're watching for them, but like as a kid, I think I wouldn't, you don't pick up on the things when you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, the Scarecrow, how he like there was a cut between a shot, and then all of a sudden they switched out the
they
face.
switched out his mask.
Yeah, so much work was put into this thing, and I'm like, I love looking at shit that makes me inspired to make shit, and I'm like so impressed that this exists, and I didn't know about it, and also it fucking rips. Like as an adult, just watching this is like so great, actually.
It's
and
trippy as hell.
And like really smart decisions too, where like they start Jack as a marionette, like a giant marionette, but then they switch to a guy in a costume. But because they've shown the marionette with like the limbs being really thin and stuff, for most people, they'll continue to see it that way, despite that not being the reality anymore.
Yeah, it's a cool trick some people use to just like, if you show it once, then you can change it up.
It's a very, very simple, great trick.
Or like TikTok, how they'd have like a bunch of different things for him. Like sometimes it's a dude just kind of like waddling in a suit. Sometimes it's clearly just like a puppet. And sometimes it looked like they had like a little stop motion thing, like when they had to like for some of the far shots, it looked like they were using a model even.
And like I think also for some shots they just had the animatronic thing and they just were moving it to like as they did a little dolly shot.
Yeah.
Tuba.
Because he's fat. He's a fat robot.
I do genuinely like the score for this movie.
Yeah.
It is nice. Oh yeah, we were talking about how the chicken puppet looks
Yeah,
really
the chicken
good.
puppet was honestly one of the most impressive puppets in the movie.
They even had the gross little eyelid thing that's like, and like they made it so that they could like somewhat seamlessly switch between. And I'm not sure I've ever seen such a seamless, especially from the era, switch between an animal and a puppet.
Yeah. Because sometimes it was a real chicken, and sometimes it was a puppet.
But
and
they
then there were
looked
the
pretty
times
close.
where they had the puppet within the puppet of Jack Pumpkinhead.
Which I assume it must have been like one of the more like automatic animatronics or something.
Because it definitely wasn't.
It was
it was probably just a head.
Yeah, I was just doing a little bit of this, but like it looked great.
Clearly, like it's the guy, like he's probably wearing like a black mask inside the thing, and then the chicken's like right in front of him, like that.
Oh no!
Or
he's
like his
where the
head's
shoulders
like,
are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's
too.
something on top of him.
That's so cool. There's so much stuff that like I'm not technically knowledgeable about shit, but I look at it and I'm like, that's probably really cool to find out how that works. And I don't know.
And I haven't done research, so I don't know if this was Henson. It feels like it absolutely could be because it
feels very Henson.
If it's not Henson, it must be Stan Winston or something because like it's really strong work.
Yeah, we were all fucking coming at the end with that rock guy and all those.
that whole sequence was great.
Yeah, the effects during the climax were crazy.
Yeah, and it kept getting more and more impressive until it ended with like the hilarious, cool shit.
Yeah, and I am just I don't even need to look it up. I know for a fact that is the same team that did Mark Twain Adventures and with that horrifying Satan guy.
It looked crazy. I mean, you had like Chekhov's chicken the entire time. The dude's like talking about what? There's a chicken. There's a chicken.
Which is it's a funny. It's an actually funny joke in a movie that's not very jokey most of the time. It's like what is? But
they hit the chicken. That's kind of goofy. Whatever. Hey, look, a tree that grows lunch pails.
Well, and the movie's also been so just unendingly like melancholic and creepy up to the point before they say the chicken thing, and they're like, "There's a guy," and then like you're still kind of freaked out. There's like, "Oh, she has a chicken," and then like it's the first joke of the movie.
Yeah, and I like that they don't. It's a well executed joke because they're not actually saying why he's afraid of the chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then it just happens,
and then
everyone's like, "Yes, eggs are poison,"
and they'll just go poison.
Yeah, like this is a common thing that everyone in the universe
it's
knows.
like, why was the witch killed by water?
Yeah,
just a mundane thing. Oh, I guess this egg kills rock men,
as we all know,
in the land of Oz.
Yeah.
Actually, they're in a different land because they crossed the deadly desert.
Right, they're in the mountains.
They didn't say which one it was, and I can't remember what it's called. It might be Land of I can't remember. But the Gnome King is also from the books. He's not from. He might be from that book. He's not from the book that Ozma's in. It's a whole lot of mishmash of Oz stuff, which so like my brain's buzzing the whole movie, just being like, oh, I'm recognizing all this stuff, all these different references, and then also I'm like going crazy over like the filmmaking stuff and noticing because that like they spend a significant amount of time in a set that is all mirrors.
Yeah. Also super cool.
Crazy to like try to shoot on a set like that where the floor, the ceiling, and many of the walls are mirrors.
Yeah.
And that one shot where Dorothy like runs up and opens the door that is a mirror, and it's like, God, insane pulling that off. Like,
and that was before that the movie that was famous for doing that.
Contact.
Yeah, I don't know.
Contact has that one shot where it's
Yeah,
like a tracking
the
shot,
tracking
and then
shot,
it goes through the mirror.
which that might have inspired that shot. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, this movie definitely feels like it inspired a lot of artists.
For sure.
I have a hard time believing it wouldn't.
Yeah, there's just like so much to look at and just be like kind of inspired by, especially for the time. When did this movie come out? What, like 80 something, right?
Like my brain wants to say like 84 or 86,
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's true.
I know it predates me.
It's totally not like a
85. I was
85, yeah.
I'm always like right close.
You're always like a year or one off.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Yeah, no, it's very interesting that like I was expecting nothing of this movie, and I know it's not fair at all to compare The Wizard of Oz to this movie, but like in my opinion, I love this movie way more. Like
I think that like part of the reason they pushed this movie so far visually and like technology wise is because the original Wizard of Oz was so
Beloved?
it pushed technology forward for
right.
filmmaking.
It was like the first color film.
yeah,
No.
Wasn't it?
Was it?
No, it was not the first Technicolor film,
Okay.
but it was one of the first to really take advantage of it as a addition to the medium.
Gotcha.
And there's so much like technical stuff in it that it was very impressive for the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, because like I said, it's not fair at all to compare them because like how many years difference between them and the technology and shit.
But
you know?
but people remember it as the first Technicolor film because as like an apocryphal fact because it's the first one that people noticed. Really,
right.
Like other films had been Technicolor, but there were still films at the same time that were constantly sepia tone, which is why the film kind of tricked people at the time of starting in sepia tone and transitioning to color, because if you're sitting down watching a sepia toned film, you expect that to just be what the film looks like.
Yeah.
And then when it changed, you're like, oh shit.
Whoa.
I didn't realize that we were watching a color film.
Otherworldly transportation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Great way to show that kind of transition. Whereas this movie, it didn't really have as much of like an, oh wow, we really transformed here. Instead, like Dorothy just kind of gets shunted out into the middle of the great Kansas Ocean.
Yeah.
Refreshment while we
Oh yeah, the moving camera's crazy.
That is very impressive claymation.
This is amazing work.
Yeah.
Especially because it's just straight up clay.
Yeah.
So like they could not fuck this up, or they undo like weeks to months of work.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, watching a Leica movie,
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like a production where people are making money and this and this, but it felt like
It was a passion
theater.
project.
Like everyone
Like-
was like, it seemed like everyone was like having fun. Like,
People cared about this movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the artists involved were really allowed to do what they wanted to do with this one, which is refreshing. Again, everything just kind of comes together in this like crazy like acid trip of a dream, like the freaking moose couch.
The Gump,
Yeah, the Gump.
which is from the books.
I believe it, but like God, that thing, like every moment looked like agony for it. It kept losing bits and pieces of itself.
It's the one that like really feels like something you'd see in like Disney World or something.
Yeah.
like it's mildly horrifying to watch.
Like as soon as you saw the head on the wall, I'm like, that's a puppet head. Like either it's going to like Evil Dead 2, like turn out, or it's going to come to life in some way, shape, or form. But man,
I think one of the moments that really like burns itself in people's brains, and I think you guys immediately understood why, was the moment when Dorothy comes across Mombi's real head. And it starts screaming, and then all the other heads start screaming.
Yeah.
like
Legitimately scary.
the nightmare fuel for some children in this. I can imagine some parents just sitting their kids down being like, okay, they liked Wizard of Oz. Here, another one came out. Watch this, little one. I'm going to go do cocaine somewhere. I don't know. And then like the kid just sitting there watching it in front of the television, getting nightmare fuel dumped into them.
Especially on VHS, like
man, yeah.
that, like the little ambiguity that VHS adds to a film is like just makes it scarier.
The rock face unhinging its jaw to eat things is just like, oh my, like that is terrifying.
Yeah, and like it's one thing when like it's already freaky when it does it with the couch, but then when it
does it
has
with Jack.
a character who is alive and is about to eat them alive, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
That's awaken. It's a core memory for people. It's awakening some stuff.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Horrors or fetishes, whatever's happening there.
That is a like, Tim Curry with the Pennywise needle teeth level nightmare fuel, I can imagine for some people.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the first things that like scared me when I was a kid. Like my parents watching the It miniseries, and I saw that scene, just like, oh, that face was burned into my brain for a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sibling is afraid of clowns because they saw like the TV special for It of Too Young.
Yeah, and this I could imagine would do like the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that rock face is terrifying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if that same sibling had watched this film as a kid, they would
just
stay
be
away
scared
from
of
stuff.
just be scared of mountains.
Same way they're also afraid of dinosaurs because they saw Jurassic Park too young.
I watched all of the Chucky films like a year or two ago, just like blasting through them because I think I wanted to watch the show. I think that's why. But I realized that I had a core memory that unlocked, I think when I was watching the first one, where I think when I was a child, my mom or someone was channel surfing, and then I saw the scene where the babysitter like goes out the window and like it's onto like a car or a garbage can or something, and I was like, oh right, I remember this. Like I was like very scared of that, and then I buried it.
I was scared of Chucky as a kid. I didn't like Chucky.
Makes sense.
But speaking of gender fluid, there's some gender stuff in this movie. There's some gender in this movie, and
why is everything political?
there's gender at the core of Oz in general, but like in general. But like, there's definitely something in this movie with like Dorothy having like another version of herself that lives in the mirror, and like she has to pull her out.
Yeah.
And also with that character in the original story having thought she was a boy, like named Tippetarius, and then realizing over the course of her adventure that she's Ozma.
That super hard.
Yeah.
I think the studio would step in at some point.
Yes.
Especially in that era.
But it definitely feels, because that character already has like a transgender sort of storyline in the original story, it adds something with the whole reflection thing where it's like, there's something here.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what, but there's something.
Yeah, whether it's just kind of like a coming of age, finding your true self kind of thing to it. Because even at the end of the movie, it's like Dorothy goes up to the mirror, it's like, you there? It's like, shh, don't tell anybody I'm here. But I am. Like,
you could also read it less LGBTQ way of just like it being her inner child, and her keeping her inner child alive. Like these people were trying to kill her inner child, and she rescued them and made sure she could keep it alive.
They weren't allowed to electrocute your brain, but if you keep talking this nonsense, they're gonna root around in there with a spike and lobotomize you, girl.
But like they can't kill it. You can keep it alive. Regardless of what they think. You could read it that way.
Yeah, that's what a lot of queer representation was before. Is like, we can't say it explicitly. We have to have it mean 3 other things, and then we'll let you have a thing one
day. You sometimes feel a little bit different?
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, we can all relate to that.
What if you can be yourself?
Unless you're someone else. I don't like that queer shit. I like it for me when I'm trying to be an inner child.
What is it, Dorothy?
Don't worry. You can be your true self privately, but never talk to your family about it. If this is a queer allegory, it's a little sad.
The script actually has a few layers to it. Like, it's not like the mind-blowing, but it's doing more than you expect for a movie like this for kids.
It felt like they had kind of carte blanche to make the movie they wanted to make.
It had to be the era of Disney where they're just like, we don't know what works right now.
I don't know.
Fucking go for it.
Like, look, we need, like, we're sinking fast.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that it was like, pitched as like a sequel or whatever to Wizard of Oz. They were like, oh, Wizard of Oz. Okay, cool. Yeah, that made money.
But it's also like kind of part never-ending story a bit, which I think was also in vogue.
Another one that's kind of like this kind of movie.
Yeah, because Disney was doing that a lot too, where it's like, what's working for other people? Let's do that too.
Yeah. The Neverending Story is the only one though that straight up ends with like, oh no, it's real, and this boy jumps on a dragon.
Yeah.
That is really funny to think about, because that's the only scene that I've seen also.
The sad to chase his bullies?
Yes. I've seen the sad horse scene in the mud, and I've seen that. And that is very funny to think of a whole adventure happening and then being like, it's real. Let's kill them.
Let's kill your bullies. But yeah, it's and like that movie's also like really dark. So I guess like it was just like this was kind of in vogue of just like exploring.
Yeah, it was that 80s era of like children's movie, like sort of on the verge of young adult children's movie, like just pre-adolescence. This Goonies, Neverending Story, where it just had somewhat like darker tones to it.
Yeah.
Again, these all predate me, so I'm not sure exactly like what was going on in the world to kind of make that so thematically relevant at the time for children. But
I think I know kind of why it was relevant, which is that like, in the 80s there was definitely this pro-capitalist, like very yuppie like push to be like, set aside childish things, become an adult, do business, make money. That's your life. And a lot of artists were like, fuck you, I don't want that to be my life.
The world is dark, let's inject whimsy somehow.
I want to make art and be imaginative forever. I want that. And so a lot of artists made this kind of movie. which is like telling kids you can be a kid forever and they can't stop you.
Yeah.
And now we don't get a lot of those stories because we kind of don't need it as much. People got that message, I think.
Oh, we have a different era of like young adult kids movies, and most of them are kind of just like comic book slop, but some of them are still pretty good. you know?
But like I think also like, now there's almost more of a backlash to that sort of thinking because just because some people retreat so much into childishness that they
refuse to grow up.
that they don't, it means they don't take things seriously, or it's like or they just ignore the things that are serious. And it's like, well, that's not good either. We got to find a balance here. So like we don't need these movies anymore. We need something that like tries to like find them.
With everything, there's always a pendulum.
And we also have like these kids have grown up into adults now, so now we have stuff like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's like adults being like, hey, it's okay to like be whimsical and
you got to do what you got to do,
you.
but you can still do this stuff as well.
Yeah,
You can't just escape into the life of what if. You have to live with what is.
Yeah.
So what if there's all these timelines, like
and yeah, if I were to like dig into like what I think the intent of the film was, I do think it is a movie that's trying to say like, hey, yeah, the world can be tough, but that doesn't mean you have to, your inner child has to die. You can keep it alive, and these kinds of people will try to manipulate you and abuse you into losing that part of yourself. But if you do, then you're just Dorothy at the beginning of the movie, which she looks dead inside.
Yeah.
And at the end, she's happy, right?
And if this is in fact like a 1910s level era, you got 2 world wars to sit through, girl. Just wait it out.
Yeah, because you were pointing out like the how they have like similarities of like the characters that they are in the asylum and then who they are in the Oz world.
Oh yeah, no, like again, coma theory is like really doing its thing. Like how in the first one, a lot of her cousins and uncle,
like the farmhands
were
and stuff,
like were the main character, like the main cast in the original Wizard of Oz movie. In this one, a lot of specifically the villains were characters that she met in the asylum.
Yeah, and that's funny. I hadn't thought about that comparison. Like I knew that the characters were played by the family members, but it's fun that like this is like a villain version of that.
And I mean, you had that in the original too, because like the curmudgeonly old lady who tried to steal Toto was the Wicked Witch.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think I just haven't seen The Wizard of Oz in such a long time, and I've seen Wicked like a billion times.
It's genuinely unsettling to have the Gnome King being like, "Oh, I'm being really nice to you. I don't understand.
I'm here to help you. I'll give you a chance to find the Scarecrow. How dare you do the thing I said to do?"
That was a little too real, and I loved it. I love that
but warning kids about that kind of person is good.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was that like thematic thing where every time one of her friends failed, you had like the thunderclap, which is what's going on right before she drowned herself in a river.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun too.
And he's trying to kill her friends, like kill the things,
There's a lot of cartoony villains that you can like be like, don't steal and don't be greedy and this is this. It's very fun to put like a male manipulator in there because like you're gonna deal with this a bunch of times in your real life.
And I think there is like some thematicism to the fact that it was the chicken that helped her find that key that, like she, in her imagination was like, oh, look, it says Oz, so she's already connected, like, this is her last moment of whimsy before being dragged away to the nut house. And so it's that chicken that inevitably causes the downfall of this man that I guess burned to death while she was drowning.
And they did a great job of having the key be vague enough to like kind of look like the Oz logo, which is also from the books, but just enough doesn't look like that either, where it's like it could be nothing.
Where the aunt is like, okay.
I mean, it kind of looks like an O and a Z, I guess.
I guess. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
because obviously my niece didn't go to a magic faraway land. That's not.
And they do ask like the very poignant questions, like, okay, so you got back with the ruby slippers. Where are they?
Yeah.
Well, and she can't answer that.
And I'm generally very surprised that they have the ruby slippers in there because I don't know if they were sued about that or not, but
because
that's
they're owned by MGM.
Yeah, that's MGM's.
Well, back then Disney had a
partnership
with MGM, I believe.
Oh, you're right. I think they did. So yeah, that might have been why they got away with it. Because there was a whole legal battle over the green skin. Like in Oz the Great and Powerful, a movie we all remember and like.
Of course.
Oh.
The movie that was about James Franco being an abusive manipulator of women, but he's a great guy at heart.
Oh, for sure.
Good thing nothing in real life made that really bad to watch.
That would have been awkward.
That would have been real awkward.
I mean,
I love
Speaking of things that reflect real life,
I love watching that season of You.
But yeah, there's a whole legal battle over like green skin. So like the fact that like they got away with the ruby slippers is kind of crazy because it's silver slippers in the original book.
If I could do a Kermit impression, just picture him doing a Kermit impression, okay? And it's really good.
Just do it.
Our culture is not your costume.
Oh my God, is Kermit the Frog here?
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Oh, Matt
Thank
Vogel
you.
is in the room.
Thank you. Oh, thank
we
God.
got Jim Henson to show up beyond the grave.
Wow, I have a really good Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, it's great.
That's great. It's my first time doing it.
But yeah, this movie, end of the day, it slaps. I think it's like absolutely worth a watch.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed watching it. I already knew about it, but experiencing it's great.
This is great because I think this is the first time all three of us had not seen the thing. Like, going
Yeah,
into it.
yeah. Wow, it is.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we were
And it
all
was good.
we were all really into it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Do you like it? Tell me
Tell me.
right now. You can also click buttons, join memberships and stuff to see these things early if you like that kind of thing.
Are you excited about Wicked for Good?
Oh my gosh, are you?
I'm so
Are
excited.
you?
I'm so excited.
I am.
I'm gonna get so sad about a bear.